Hello there and thanks for tuning in. In this video we're going to be looking at how to install XSplit Broadcaster, and then we're also going to go through the basics of setting it up so that you can do your own local recordings to your hard drive, which you can then upload to wherever, YouTube, Facebook, whatever, and also how to set up a basic stream. So within that we're going to be covering how to get your game to appear within Broadcaster, how to add a webcam, how to add audio, just really cover the basics. It's like, consider it to be like a quick start guide. Now the XSplit Broadcaster, I presume you know what it is as you've chosen to watch this video. Just in case you don't and you're just streaming, very simply it's a package that allows you to just record your PC gameplay, to add webcam details, to add all sorts of Twitch add-ons and so on and so forth as well, to create scenes. So if you've watched other gamers playing using Twitch, broadcasting to Twitch rather, and you see how they have a chat window in there, they have, if they get a donation or a new subscriber, there's pop-ups and celebrations and all sorts of stuff. You can do all that within Broadcaster, but we're not covering that within this video. This is literally a quick start guide and we're going to cover the very basics. So the first thing you need to do is you need to download XSplit Broadcaster. So you need to head to xsplit.com/broadcaster and then hit the download Broadcaster button. Now within the XSplit site there are lots of tutorials, lots of help articles on there, really informative. So if I don't cover what you want in this video, definitely dive in and have a look. But we do plan to do a full series on XSplit Broadcaster, so that we in future videos will cover more of the advanced features, how to set up different scenes, how to do transitions between them and so on. But we're not covering that in this one, just the basic one. So go ahead and download a Broadcaster. It's completely free. There is a paid version as well, where you can get it by a premium license. So, but it's perfectly usable using the free version to do what we're doing today. Now, what we'll do at the end of this video is we'll put up a slide that shows you what you actually get for your premium membership. So if you're finding that you're enjoying using Broadcaster, you think it's a tool that can help you with your streaming, then you might consider getting a premium license, but that's entirely up to you. So once you've downloaded and installed Broadcaster, you'll be prompted to create an account. So you'll do all that, and once you're logged in, you'll be met with this screen. This is the blank canvas that that we're going to, if you will, paint our scene onto it. So first of all, we'll just go through a few parts of the screen and just highlighting a few bits of detail. Now this is completely at default settings, so we'll just dive in and show you what's in each menu. So as you would expect within the file menu, this is where you can load your presentations or your scenes. You can save them, you can duplicate them, you can access any recordings that you've got or screenshots. Within the broadcast menu, this is where you can choose to, you can set up all your different streaming accounts. So as you can see at the moment we're signed into Twitch, but if you wanted to, you could sign into Facebook Live, Mixer, Twitch, YouTube Live, and any more, but that's pretty much got you covered in there. So each time you select one of these, you just run through a very simple wizard to allow Broadcaster to access your account and to broadcast on it. In the record tab, this is where you can carry out local recordings. So basically whatever's going on your computer screen, basically whatever's going on in your scene will just be saved to your hard drive. We're not going to look at these two menus today, but we are going to look at something in the tools. So, and all we're going to look at on tools is we're just going to have a look in the settings. So I want to show you something in there. So when you do start recording and you want to record your voice, you may do, you may not want to. It's important to understand what microphone it's going to use and where the system sound is going to come from. So XSplit Broadcaster will by default select the default settings that you're using in Windows currently. So you'll see in system sound, it's going to the default speakers, and in the microphone it's going for default microphone. Now you can change these, so you can you can open the drop down menu and you can select some options from within there. Same with the microphone. but I'm going to leave it as it is because it's set up as I want it. We're not going to cover any of the other bits and pieces in here for now, just that. Remember, this is just a basic video. Obviously in help is the manual. You can check for updates and news and so on and so forth, so there's all sorts of useful bits and pieces in there. As we're going across the top of the screen, you'll notice there's this little here. So this is the resolution and the frame rate we're going to be recording at. So this is the default 2080 by 720 at 30 frames per second. But with a little drop down here, we can change it. So we could change the resolution. So we could do full HD if we wanted to. And we could change the frame rate. As you can see, up to 60. Can you go faster? Let's see. Oh, so you can go faster, but it does require a high spec computer. Let's put it back to 30. I don't know if my rig can handle that or not. And then one other option on here, we're not going to cover in a great deal of detail today, but in the workspace option you can go to split mode. So on the left, this is the preview, this is our blank canvas, and on the right is what it's actually going to look like when it's live, when it's broadcasting. So in theory they should look identical once you're broadcasting, but that's the option there for you. So we'll just put it back to the classic mode. Down on the bottom here, we're not going to cover a great deal in here, but if you set up a few scenes and so on and so forth, you can have different ones. So scene 1, for example, could be, I don't know, my stream is starting soon with a countdown perhaps. When you're ready to go live, you could switch to scene 2. Now there's nothing set up here, so they're all going to be blank. At the end of a stream, you might go to scene 3. It's entirely up to you, and you can set up multiple different scenes in here. Maybe you have different themes for different games that you play, and you might have, I don't know, you might set up a Christmas one, for example, or a Halloween one. That's a holiday around the corner. But lots of things you can do within there. These little icons here, so this they control the levels of input, levels of sound input into your recording. So this one is your microphone volume. Level of recording, and this is your system one. So you might want to mess around with these a little bit to get their balance for you. So I tend to have the microphone quite high and the system sound quite low. Certainly if you're live streaming, you're going to want your audience to be able to hear you. They might not want to hear you, but hopefully if they do, you certainly want them to hear you. So you can play around with the settings in there so you get the right balance between people being able to hear you and so that you can still hear a bit of the game. And then finally, and this is where the tutorial sort of gets probably a bit more interesting, you'll see we're going to start to build the scene, is where you can add sources for your screen. So if you click on add source, we're just going to look at the top 3 here. We're not going to go through all the other bits and pieces at the moment. So with screen capture, you can have a smart selection where it's going to make an educated guess as to what you want it to record. We can do a monitor capture, so if you've got multiple screens attached, you can select whichever one it would be. Or you could even select individual programs, so you may want to have a few different things on the screen at once, depending on what you're doing, and you can have that. You can record each, you can pick a window separately, a program separately, and have it displayed on the screen. And we'll show you a little bit more how that looks in a second. If you're capturing a game, once again, you can have it set to auto detect, or you can boot the game first and then you can select it. So we've already got something running in the background here for the purpose of this video, which we're going to show you shortly. And then in the devices option, this is where within the video tab we can add our webcam, which you can see listed, and there's also a capture card connected to this PC. So we recognise that as well, or you could have different audio sources. Now, I've never personally needed to use this one, but you might find yourself needing to do that. So that's the basics of all the different menus in there. As I say, we've not covered everything. Tons and tons of features that we haven't covered and we won't cover in this video. But if you do have questions, if you're a slightly more advanced user and you want to know something, put it in the comments. because hopefully we will cover it in a future video. If not, it might prompt us to cover it, or you might get an answer, whether it's directly from myself or maybe someone else who's seen the video as well. But we'll certainly do our best to help you out. So let's begin building our scene. So we're going to, first of all, we're going to add our game. So we've got a game running in the background already. So we're just going to select what we want. And you'll see it'll kick in a couple of seconds in there, but you'll see we've got this white box all around here. Now we can actually position this box wherever we want within this canvas. So the black area is, think of that as the full screen. So you can drag and drop this to wherever you want it to go. So you can drop it in one corner, the other corner, in the middle, and you can also change the size of it. And you can see it's snapping to a grid at the moment. I think we're just going to have to go into the game and then back out very briefly. There we go. Just to get it running. So you can see now, and we've got our game running in there. Just show you using the window capture that we talked about. We will capture Spotify as well. Where's that gone? Oh, that's hiding in there. As you can see, that Spotify has now appeared. If we wanted to, we can put that anywhere within the window. Lots of things we can do. If we want to remove something, we can just select it down here, hit the delete key, and it's removed from our presentation. Now, when we add more things, something to remember is how it chooses to default, by default, how it chooses to layer things. So the first thing you put down, think of it as being at the bottom of the pile, then the next thing is going to go over the top of that, the next thing over the top of that, and so on. So we're going to add our webcam in a second, and you'll see what I mean by that. So we'll go ahead and add our webcam. So I'm sorry folks, this is where you get to see my ugly face. So we're going to go for the video. And we'll wait for this to just kick in. There I am. Hello. You'll have to forgive the lighting on this. There's no special lighting. It's just a light bulb, as this isn't a particularly well, it's important, but yeah, I didn't really think it needed to be lit that well. Maybe it did. Haven't seen my face on there now. I need all the help I can get. But you can see, like we said, the webcam is currently, it's going to sit over our game. So what I'd like to do, or tend to do, is we're just going to shift that over there a second, is have the game taking over the full screen. Oops. Then we're going to select the webcam, drag it to whatever size we want. So you obviously can position it anywhere, so you might put it up here or down here or wherever, depending on what's going to be displayed on the game, whatever's important for you. If there's any of the bits that you wanted to add, then you can choose to add them over the top. So we're not really doing any streaming overlays or anything today. This is purely the basics. And for me, I think we're pretty much there, if I'm honest. So what we'll do is we'll just go ahead, we'll play the game, we'll get that going so you can see how it looks within Broadcaster as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start recording on here as well. And I forgot to set up my controller, so let me just do that. Okay, so all there is left to do now is we're going to launch our game, and then you can see how it looks in the finished product. So hopefully, on the presumption that I've set this up correctly, you should be seeing the game in the background. And you should be seeing my face in the camera in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. If I remember rightly, that's where we put it. So this, if you've not played it before, is Untitled Goose Game, one of my favourite games of recent times. Not really here to talk about the games itself of the XSplit. I promise you I'm not sponsored by the Goose people, but absolutely phenomenal game. Definitely check it out if you will. We're not going to say any more about the Goose itself, but we will leave Goose on screen. I'm just going to put my controller down. So there you have it. That is just the basics of how to set up XSplit Broadcaster, how to set up a very basic scene. So you've got your game on there, you've got your sound source, you've got your webcam if you want it on there, and how to lay it out. Now, I've said it quite a few times, but one more time is there are tons and tons of features that we haven't covered on here. I know that I am planning on doing a full series of videos on XSplit Broadcaster and also all the other different XSplit products that are available, because there's quite a few if you're interested in getting set up in the world of streaming. So, like we said, we are going to finish with a slide that shows you the difference between the free version of XSplit Broadcaster and the premium version. I would recommend downloading the free one first before you even go and consider buying a license, just to see if it's the program for you, to see if it's going to do what you want it to do. Obviously, you don't want to spend any money and it not do what you want it to do, but it's definitely worth checking it out. It's a powerful piece of kit, even a free version, and maybe you'll decide to get a premium license. So we shall go ahead and we'll just look at that slide. Okay, so here's the slide that shows you the difference between what you'll get for the free version of Broadcaster and what you'll get for with the premium one. So we're on the Broadcaster tab, so at the number of scenes, the free version you'll get 4. That's plenty for starting out. Premium, unlimited. Content, it's the same for both. If you wanted to have a thumbnail scene preview, it's in both. Chroma keys in both. Scene transitions both. Source and extension plugins both. Split mode both. The virtual camera, you'll get a watermark if in the free version, but a non-watermark in the premium one. As you can see, all these ones are the same. Resolution wise, if you're going over 720, you're going to get a watermark. The premium version, it's unlimited, and so on and so forth. But hopefully you can see from here that there is an awful lot of stuff available just within the free version. There's very, very few things that aren't covered in it. So definitely worth checking out just to see if it's the program for you, and then you can go ahead and take out a premium license if you wanted to. Now there's always loads of offers on. Every time even though I've got a license, every time I'm on this page, it seems to get a 50% offer. So there's all sorts of offers around as well, so it won't cost the earth. So if you did want to subscribe, here are your options. So obviously, the more money you pay up front, the better value it's going to be. So starting at the very top, if you wanted a lifetime premium license, it's $200 right now. So a big discount, or $199. If you wanted to get a 3-month one, you're paying $832 US dollars per month. Would be the equivalent of, or $24.59 every 3 months. Or if you wanted to get a 12-month premium license, so you'd be paying up front, so you'd be paying $60 pretty much up front, but that's the equivalent of $5 per month. So it's not massively expensive, but I would only consider shelling out if you think it's right for you. So as ever, thank you for watching. Really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Hopefully you found it useful. It'd be great if you want to subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. More importantly, if you've got questions, put them in the comments and we will do our best to answer them. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.